Hi, this is Josh. Today we're going to give you some reading hacks and a plan of attack for your reading section for your SSAT or ISEE. All right, let's go. Well, my name is Josh, and I have bad handwriting. So this section we'll get to later. This is where we're going to fill out our plan of attack after the boot camp is done. Okay? There's some spoilers here, so just close your eyes for a couple seconds, okay? All right. First of all, a lot of homework and your school asks you to do 20 or 30 minutes of reading. So let's look at this chart first. Why should you not skip your 30 minutes of reading? Okay? Student A, he reads 20 minutes a day. That's 3,600 minutes in a school year and 1,800,000 words. Student B only reads 5 minutes a day, which equals 900 minutes in a school year, but only 282,000 words. Student C reads 1 minute a day. That's not a lot of reading, maybe street signs or something. And that's only 180 minutes in a school year. So this student is only reading 8,000 words a day. All right, do you want to be 90 percentile, 50 percentile, or 10 percentile? That's pretty much a no-brainer. Let's try to read as much as possible. Reading is important, okay? Reading's how you become more interesting. It's how you know stuff, and good test takers are good readers, okay? So it's really hard to teach you, how to be a good reader in a couple weeks or in a boot camp, but you need to take care of the reading on your own, okay? Now we remember what RIP the test means. RIP the test means, not rest in peace, read, interact, and then process of elimination, okay? These are your four cornerstones. But what does TMI mean? TMI means too much information. Well, in each passage there's too much information. So what we're going to do is write too much information, but we're going to change this. Too much info. Since there's too much information, how should you read? Okay, how should you read these passages? They're just packed with information, okay? So how do I want to do this? Since there's too much information, it's going to be hard to understand. So you're going to read quickly. That's terrible. Okay. Read quickly, but answer carefully. Okay, make sure you fill out these worksheets as we go. And of course, make sure you print them out before you start. That's probably common sense, okay? Try not to remember everything. Pay attention to what it's about and how it's structured, okay? Then the second step that we're going to do is we're going to draw the general, okay? We're not buying car insurance during the test, please. But you're going to draw the general. So basically, I used to ask my students to do, what and so what. And then I got one of my students put it in a little chart. What and so what. Okay, and I thought that was brilliant. And then I added this little guy's face so we can talk about the tone. Okay, but what happened is we changed it to TMI. TMI. What you do is you draw this cross. Okay, you draw this guy's face. And this stands for something. Not too much information. What do you think that the TMI stands for in our little general here, okay? So let me show you. Get rid of these guys. What I want you to do, after you read it quickly, I want you to draw a cross. Not for religious reasons. I want you to draw a face of our general. You do not need to draw the cap, okay? You do not need to draw a star. It's a time test. Use your time wisely, okay? I'll draw his eyeballs for you, okay? Put TMI there. This doesn't stand for T or for two. It stands for topic. Everything has a topic. It might be Florence Nightingale. It might be shells. It might be flax. Okay, and then MI, you probably guessed it. It means what? Main idea. If you can draw the general, then you can really get a head start on about 50% of the questions. This is an awesome strategy for you. Okay, so draw the general. Now you'll never guess what drawing the general is going to help you do. it's going to help you answer the general questions. Now, there's about half the questions are general, and this is going to be easy for you to do. It does take practice, and sometimes this is one sentence together. This is about 1 to 3 words. Okay, and then this completes a sentence about the Shells or about Florence Nightingale. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, then this guy is going to get a face. All right, if there's 3 emojis, if we could go back in time and take all the emojis of the world and bring it down to 3, that would be awesome. Less emojis is better, but we would definitely have a happy emoji, a sad emoji, or just the facts, right? Okay, these are the 3 types, okay? So you draw your own. Now, what is the ranking of these emojis? Well, this is the first one, okay? This is the first one. This is used the most. This is just the information, okay? Just the facts, ma'am, okay? This is the second one. They like the topic, all right? And then the third one is they barely criticize or go negative on the topic, all right? So what's an example of something, Florence Nightingale was a nurse. Florence Nightingale was a nurse. That's just the facts. She was a nurse, How about she was a good nurse. She was caring. We want our nurses to be caring, okay? Not carving, okay? But she killed people because she was so negligent. That's pretty bad for a nurse. I mean, that's not true. But if it was true, and if it was in the passage, you would just have to put that, killing people is not really what you want to do as a nurse or a doctor, right? So, shells, okay? Shells are pretty. There's 2 kinds of shells. That's just the facts. The fact that they're pretty is pretty awesome, I think. Okay, the fact that shells are poisonous, that's sort of bad, Okay, flax. Who knows what flax is? Well, if it's useful, that's good. Flax is useful. Okay, that it's useless or kills people, flax. Who knows what flax is? Or just an explanation of what it is. So if it just defines it, then that, that would be just the facts. Okay, so I've made you a list of 2-column notes, actually 3-column notes, 6-column notes. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then all of these are the happy ones. Okay. So, do you know what any of these mean? Do you know what it means to revere someone? To revere someone is to admire them. So, let's keep these definitions simple. Okay. We know what it means to support people. So, supportive is helping. Admiring. Well, admiring is like revere. Okay, so these are synonyms for each other. Okay, you look up to someone. Optimistic means glass half full, right? Or, positive. The antonym for that is pessimistic. Antonyms is not a section on the test, but this is negative, or the glass is half full. Okay? All right. Sentimental. Sentiment means feeling. Okay? With feeling. With feeling. Nostalgic. Nostalgic means remembering the past. I'm going to abbreviate. So when your grandfather sits you down and says, in the good old days, I had to walk up to school uphill both ways in the snow barefoot, okay? Persuasive means that you can convince people, all right? This is convincing. Endorsing is like you support it, okay? Like I'm endorsing my boot camp. Michael Jordan endorsed Nike sneakers. That's a good example. I don't know. Endorsing is like an advertisement, right? It's support. All right, what does critical mean? Critical means that you are putting down, okay? They're telling you what you're doing wrong when they're critical, putting down. Now, there's constructive criticism, okay, but Critical means that you're sort of highlighting the negative parts. Abhor means to hate. Cynical means skeptical, is sort of a synonym for skeptical. It means that you don't believe. And skeptical means the same thing. Skeptical means that you're not sure that really happened, okay? If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is, okay? Unsure. Disdain and despise also mean abhor. Abhor, try not to use the word hate. I hate this. No, say I abhor it. Or disdain is very strong. It's even stronger than hate. So these also mean hate, okay? All right. Indifferent. Indifferent means you don't care, okay? Usually this will never be the tone. These are going to help you with the tone questions, okay? Remember up here, you've got 3 tones or attitudes, okay? They are, number 1, just the facts, okay? Just the facts. Number 2, I like the topic. I like Florence Nightingale. Or Florence Nightingale was a miserable person. They're rarely going to do that. But why would someone, write about something that they don't care about? On the SSAT and ISEE, they will almost never do the indifferent one. So you can almost always eliminate that the tone was indifferent, if that makes any sense. Okay, informative, it's often informative, okay? Informative just means give information, okay? To give information. And of course, a lot of them are just the facts explaining. Objective means neutral, or you're not taking sides. It's different than you have an objective, which is to get into school with a good score. Okay, objective is not taking sides. It basically means fair. Of course, unbiased also means fair. Okay, and so if it's objective, or if it's just the facts, like this. If it's just the facts, then it might be one of these two. Okay, ambivalent means that you're not really sure. Ambi means both. Okay, not sure. Again, this is usually not one. Neutral just means not taking sides, okay? In the middle. Okay, so that's easy. You should study these words, and later on I'm going to have like a typed version that's a little neater than this, okay? And in the bottom, all right? I'll show that to you. Okay, so the main idea is the main point, the purpose, or the thesis, okay? What did the author want you to know most, okay? What did the main idea must be discussed in all the paragraphs. It can't be just discussed in one paragraph or at the beginning, okay? Different, so when you do your general, the T is the topic, that's what it's about, and then the MI is what were they saying about it? What were they saying about shells, or what were they saying about Florence Nightingale? That sentence would go here. So the topic goes here, and something about the topic here. What did the author want you to be convinced of? Then the tone or attitude just goes an emoji. Just the facts is the most common one. Okay, that's an ugly emoji. Okay, skip this chart for now. And the next thing you have to do is you have to determine whether the questions that they're asking you are general or specific. Now, about half of them are general, so about half of them are specific. There's a few that don't really fit into any category, like the prediction, what's going to happen next. But let's look at these. If it's general, we're going to look at our general, right? Our general doesn't need a hat, but he's got too much information or topic and main idea. Plus, he's got tone and attitude. All the questions that talk about main idea are already going to be answered in that. So let's look at this. If specific, underline the lead words that will lead you to the right answer. So the lead should look like this. Ready? The lead words will lead you to the right place, okay? Are you allowed to look back in the test? Yes. Are you supposed to write on the test? Yes. You can write on the test, so take advantage of that. All right, that's one of the main things about this, the specific questions. Okay, if it's specific in lines 1 or 2, in lines 1 or 2 is definitely specific. In fact, this is the exact part where the princess offers clothing to the frog. And why does he do it? Well, once you find it in there and you find it in the passage, you'll underline it, and then you'll have your answer, and then you'll put it there. So this is definitely specific, okay? Specific. Okay? The princess's actions could best be described as. Well, we're not sure, because we haven't read the passage about, this is probably about the princess and the frog. The princess's actions, if they were discussed in all the paragraphs, could be general. And it could be your main idea. Or if it was just in one spot or one paragraph, then it could be specific. So this one's a little confusing. Why? Because I love to trick children. Okay? What best explains why the princess didn't stay with the frog? Okay? The princess didn't stay with the frog. Didn't stay to play with the frog. Okay? That's a very specific part. That's a very specific part. And so you need, after that, once you've determined that it's specific, you need to go find it. Okay, it's like a treasure hunt. It's just not as fun. Okay, based on the context of the passage, what is the most likely meaning of hastening? Well, it's on line 14, so you know it's specific. Okay, and then on hastening, when you go to line 14, sometimes they're numbered 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever, and you'll have to find the word hastening. I want you to circle it. Okay, find hastening, and then I want you to read above it and below it, and then write in 1 to 3 words a substitute word for hastening. Okay, in 1 to 3 words. That's what I want you to do, is find hastening. Go back, and because hastening, you may or may not know what it means. You probably can figure it out through context, but they're not asking you what it means in a vacuum or in a dictionary. They're asking you what it means there. That's very important. Okay, according to the passage. Anytime it says according to the passage, then you have to look in the passage. It's not the main idea, it's according to the passage, so it always is specific, okay? And what are you going to do? The benefits of clothing swaps. I don't think that that's the same passage as the princess and the frog, but find the benefits. They must have been listed somewhere. And then when you find it, you're going to mark it, you're going to underline it in the passage, and then you're going to answer the one and do your process elimination and choose the one that's closest to the benefits that you've already found in the passage. The author's main purpose. Okay. What does main purpose sound like? It sounds like main idea. That's right. So it's in your general that you've drawn already after you read quickly, and now you're answering carefully. Okay? It does take time to answer. According to the passage. Has to be specific. Okay? Why did the clothing swap, why did they use social media? In order to do what? It's in there. It's in there. You have to search and find it. Do not try to remember it. Why? Because there's too much information. Okay? Which of the following would be the best title? Best title is like in your general. It's like the main idea. A main idea and the title could be sort of the same words switched around a little bit. So a best title is always read your main idea. Okay, so that's the general. All right, I'm abbreviating, and so should you. These are just our notes. Okay. The author's attitude. The author's attitude and tone. Guess where they are? They're in your emojis. They're on the top of the general. It's whatever the mouth looks like of this guy, right? You've drawn your general, too much information, topic, main idea, but that guy's face, whatever it is, if it's happy, sad, or indifferent, or neutral, right? And so you'll have to look at that. Author's attitude. Oh, author towards the ocean. So that might be a specific one. Depends whether the whole thing is about the ocean or whether just one part is about the ocean. If the whole thing's about the ocean, it's in the general, okay? But if it's just find the part where he's talking about the ocean, and it could be specific. So that's a little tricky. According to the passage, that's all you need all you need to see is line anything. Okay? So abyssal plain, who knows what that means? Well, let's go find it. Let's read a little bit above and below it, and then substitute in 1 to 3 words. Abyssal probably means what? There's probably a hint in there, which is called context. All right. Okay, so this is specific. Specific. And then the author lists. Well, if the author's listing something, right, then it has to be specific. If the author's listing something, it has to be specific. Okay? So, which sentence best summarizes? Okay, well, you've got to find this, but compare it to your main idea. Okay, you've got to find it. And, well, you probably don't even need to go find it, because if you read your main idea from your general, just compare the answer choices to that and do your process elimination. So this is actually a general one. Okay, I hope you did well with that. Now remember, lead words will lead you to the right spot in the passage. And so what you have to do is this. Ready? When you find out that it's a specific question, my sister could never say specific and Pacific. She always got them screwed up. Okay, then I want you to look in the passage. Look in the passage, and then I want you to mark it. Okay? How can you mark where the answer is? You can circle it or underline it. Or underline and circle it, okay? You can also put a box around it, but those are two things. I want you to basically underline the part that they're talking about so you know where to look when you're trying to answer the question. Does that make sense? I'm sure it does, okay? So now there's some other commonly used words. I put a little 2-column chart here for you. A parable is like a story to show a different meaning. It's almost like an analogy. Okay. Jesus spoke in parables. Okay. And some of the fables are like parables. Ironic is the opposite of what is expected. Bald barbers or dentists with jacked up teeth. That's like, you're in charge of my teeth and then you don't have good teeth. That's not good. Personification is like the dish ran away with the spoon, or the little dog laughed to see such a sport. You're putting a personal, like a quality of a person, on a non-living object. That, like, my cup just sat there, like lazy cup. Okay, it's putting a human quality on a non-human. Okay, alliteration. Alliteration is like when you use the same letter in front of everything. The blue bumblebee is a good example, right? Same starting letter. Okay. And a simile is a comparison using like or as. Okay, when the world was flat as a pancake, then Mona Lisa was happy as a clam. Welcome back, and on to tell you the story of Goldilocks. Goldilocks is going to help us understand which ones to get rid of and which ones we should keep in the reading section, which choices. Now, Goldilocks was a nice little girl, as long as you like your little girls to be complaining and thieves and trespassing and inconsiderate and terrible to the environment. So this girl, she walks into a bear's home, right? And she like trespasses, and then she like starts stealing things. Like, she sits in their chairs, she eats their porridge, and she sleeps in their bed. And all the while she complains, like, what a complainer, right? She says, this one's too big, this one's too small, this one is just right. Okay, this is too hot, this is too cold, this one's just right. Well, we don't want to really be like Goldilocks, because you should never steal things from bears, okay? They will maul you, they will kill you, all right? This is very serious. Do not go into a grizzly bear's home and start eating his food. Bad idea, okay? But Goldilocks, the story, can just, we're looking for the answers that are just right. So go to number 4, and we'll see which ones should we eliminate, okay? You don't want to get the ones that are too big, or too small. And by too big, I mean they're talking about the things that the passage doesn't even talk about, all right? So the things that are trying to cover more than the passage really took on. There is too much information, but it doesn't cover like the history of all things, right? But also, if it's a general question, you can get rid of the ones that are too small. They're just talking about the ones that are like a section of the test, but it's like the main idea can't be just like one little detail, if that makes any sense. All right, I'm sure that it does. Okay, if it's too big or too small, if it's too extreme, okay, then it can't be the answer usually, right? So we have to talk about what are some of the extreme words. Okay, the extreme words are the words that mean something 0% or 100%. All right, the extreme words that mean 0% are like none, nobody, nowhere, and never. Okay, nobody likes pink. That's a ridiculous statement, and it can't be true. Okay, then the ones that mean 100% are all, everybody, everywhere, and always. Okay, people always wear pink can never be the answer to anything, because the passage would not say things against common sense. All right, so you're also, if it's not mentioned in the passage, it's probably not the answer. All right, if it's not mentioned, if it's in contradiction, contra means against, contradiction means something said about against what the passage says. The passage says this and the answer says that. That can't be the answer, obviously. Okay, if it's against common sense. Okay, if it's against common sense, it's not going to be the answer to no matter what the passage says, probably, right? I have a pet dinosaur. No, I don't, because they're extinct. All right, so what are the extreme words? I sometimes call them the Trump words. Everything's bigger and better and the best and the worst, and all those things, like, it's probably too extreme. If you're getting rid of the extremes, the too big and the too small, and the all, the none, the never, okay, all, never. Anytime you see never in the answer, it's probably not. Anytime you see always, it's probably not. Yeah, so you can use your process elimination just by reading the questions. So it's just by reading the answers. You don't need to read you do need to read the passage, but by looking at the answers, you could get some eliminations. Okay, that's not what I want you to do. I do want you to read them. How are you going to read quickly? How are you going to answer carefully? So this is part of answering the general and the specific. Well, if you're going to get rid of these kind, what kind are you going to keep? Okay, you're going to read. You're going to keep the paraphrases. What's a paraphrase? A paraphrase is like a shortened version. Paraphrases, and again, when you do your MI in your general, your TMI, the MI reworded will be a paraphrase. Okay, so look for that, paraphrase. All right, if they're conservative in their outlook, okay, they're non-extreme, they're conservative. This is not like politically, but just that they're moderate, okay, that they're just like, they don't say too much one direction. They're sort of in the middle. We don't like extremes in America. Extremes are dangerous, okay? They might use words like can, some, and may. Now consider our example. Ready? Some people like pink. Well, of course that's true. Some people do. You may like pink. You may think that Goldilocks is not an idiot, but I do. Okay. On to number 6. So if they say in a specific example in line 14, okay, they might have it in parentheses. You have to go and find that word. What do I want you to do? I want you to circle the word. I want you to find the word, rather, okay, and then circle it. First, you have to find it. Where is it? Well, it's in line 14. Okay, and then I want you to circle it. Okay, this is called a vocab in context. All right, and then I want you to replace it with how many words? 1 to 3. Circle it and replace it with 1 to 3 with a substitute word. Okay, and then you're going to plug in the answer. PETA. Plug in the answer. Okay, and you plug in the answer choices, A through D or A through E, back into the thing. And what I want you to do is read a little bit above and a little bit beyond. So maybe the sentence before, the sentence during, whatever the word is, and then the sentence after. Okay, so here's the word, and then you circle it, and then you read a little bit above, a little bit beyond, and you substitute in 1 to 3 words. Okay, now let's see what this would look like. Okay, I'm sorry, I haven't given you an entire passage, but if they were saying when the bird spots what its prey, what does it mean to spot something in that case? Well, we're not asking you what spots mean, right? Spots means lots of different things, but when a bird spots its prey, I want you to circle it, read above and beyond, pretend these are different ones. It means that he sees the prey. Okay, you have to spot it before you can, a predator has to spot its prey. Okay, the laundry did not remove the spot from my shirt. Okay, there's a spot on my shirt. I'm clumsy. I spilled coffee on it, but that spot basically means a stain in that sentence. Okay, my dog had many spots. These are like round patterns. Okay, I would call that, it's usually something round, a round pattern on my dog's fur. Okay, you're not answering what the word means. You're thinking about what the word means there. About what the word means there, in context, in the passage. You can't read that. Okay. Now that you can see it, you still might not be able to read it because bad handwriting problem. Okay. It's even worse with this pen. I'm blaming it all on the pen. Okay. So last thing, number 7. Should I skip or should I read? Okay. Well, really, how many passages should you skip and how many passages should you read depends on your reading speed. Some people, test takers, can read all of them and answer all of them every time. Some people have to skip. But if you are going to skip, I would just suggest, there's usually 8 passages. I would skip 1. Skip 1 passage. Okay? Do you have to do the passages in order? No. Do them in any order that you like. Okay? Always answer the first 2, and then don't skip around, but if you want to skip one, skip it. Should you skip one that's long or short? Well, if the passage is long, then you don't want to read it because it takes too much time. Do you get points for reading well? No. You get points for answering well. Okay? So we would rather read short ones than long ones. Would you rather read boring ones or interesting ones? Well, I'd rather read an interesting one. Now, what interests you and what interests me might be different. So if you knew what the topic was off the bat, you could skip the boring one. Okay? Would you rather read one that has 4 questions or 6 questions? This might go against what you're thinking here, but you would rather answer 6 questions because you have a chance for 6 points. Okay? And then 4 questions is less. They're usually 5 though. Okay? So if we have a short question that's a short passage that's interesting and it's got a lot of questions, that's a chance to score points in a short amount of time. How should you use your time? Wisely, of course. Okay? Always wisely. How should you read? Okay, you should read quickly, but answer carefully. Okay? What do you need to do next? You need to draw the general. What does the general look like? Okay? Remember, you draw the cross, you draw the eyes and the head. You can just write TMI there. What does T stand for? It stands for topic. Then, what does MI stand for? It stands for main idea. If you write Florence Nightingale here, you don't write her name there too. Florence Nightingale was a good nurse. Shells are beautiful. Shells are poisonous. There's 2 types of shells. So you don't really need to rewrite the topic because it's already written there for you, okay? Then you have to determine if it's general or specific. Okay? Remember, this guy's got 3 tones, okay? He usually just the facts, or he likes the topic, or the author hates the topic, which doesn't usually happen on these tests, okay? So if it's general, you're going to look at your general. If it's general, you've got it all right here. Okay? If it's a general question, you've already answered it for you. So now you're ready to do your process elimination and look at the choices. If it's specific, you need to look in the passage and mark it. You need to find it, and then you can mark it by by underlining or circling. Okay? If it's specific, then you have to look in the passage. Are you allowed to write on the test? Yes. Do I want you to write on the test? Yes. Are you going to write on the test? Maybe. Hopefully. Okay? Lead words lead you to the passage. So what I want you to do is it's an open book test, so take advantage. I want you to find the key words or the lead words about the frog and the princess or whatever it is, the specific moment in the passage. Try to remember the structure of the different paragraphs, right? And then just try to find it and then circle it. Okay, the lead words will lead you to the right answer. Okay, that X marks the spot, right? Okay, in vocab and context, like anything that says line, it has to be a specific. Okay, you're going to circle it and you're going to replace it in 1 to 3 words, some substitute. Okay, then you can plug in the answer into that spot and read a little bit above and a little bit beyond. Okay, don't skip if. I'm not sure what I was supposed to put there. Don't skip if you don't want to. I'm not sure what I meant there. Okay. Skip one passage. Skip one passage. That's what I think you should do. And then eliminate extreme answers like all, every, or never. Keep the moderate answers like some, may, and can. Okay? I think you're ready to get some practice and you're ready to attack the test with these strategies. Okay? Good luck.